In this lesson, we're going to talk about pensions specifically. And what a pension is it's a deferred compensation plan. So it's money that is given or received at a later date in return for services like working for a company for a certain number of years. In a pension plan, there's a couple different types of pension plans. There's a defined benefit plan and a defined contribution plan. The defined contribution plan is like the 401k that we talked about. But a defined benefit plan is a pension. The employee pension benefits it's usually calculated based upon a formula that could involve the average salary before retirement, could involve the age, how long you've worked there, some kind of multiplier. We've touched on this before in one of our previous lessons, but we're going to go into a little more depth in this lesson with regards to pensions. The employer makes all decisions on the investment options for the money in the plan. There's no individual account for one specific employee, but it's a pooled fund. So all the funds are pooled together in one. The employer invests the money, and then after retirement, they're going to put it through some kind of formula so that you can receive a monthly payment after you retire. In almost every pension plan or defined benefit plan, the employee must participate in the plan for a certain number of years before being vested. What that means is you have a right to it. So common vesting periods is usually 7 years, could be a little bit more, a little bit less, but that's a common one is 7 years. When they are calculating the monthly payout from your pension once you retire, there's some formulas that can be used. There's a flat benefit formula, which just pays a fixed flat amount every month, simply based on the number of years that the retiree has worked for the employer. There's a career average. It pays a pension based on the fixed percentage of the average earnings of all the years. And then there's a final average formula, which pays a pension that is based on a fixed percentage of the average earnings of the last several years. Could be 3 to 5 years. Usually that's better for the employee because the last 3 to 5 years they're probably making more than they were in the beginning when they first started working for that company. Most defined benefit plans are insured under a federal pension insurance program known as the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation. So, and then there's some other terms in here that you'll need to know, but let's get into some problems here. Show you some of the kind of problems you're going to see. Roberto worked for the Surgical Tools Corporation for 20 years. His employer offers a benefit package with a flat benefit formula using the flat amount of $40 for each year of service to calculate his monthly pension. How much will Roberto's monthly pension benefit be? Well, it's $40 for every year. Well, he worked there for 20 years, so 40 times 20 is $800. So he's going to receive a monthly pension of $800 upon retirement. After 1 year of retirement, Roberto's employer offers a 2.21% cost of living adjustment to his monthly pension benefit. What a cost of living adjustment is basically a raise for the employee because of inflation. Prices have went up. Food prices have went up. Gas prices have went up. Rent has went up. Just things in general the prices have inflated. So what happens is the employer gives the employee a raise based on that cost of living. In example one, Roberto's monthly pension benefit was $800. Multiply the monthly pension benefit by the first cost of living adjustment, which is 2.21%. So as a decimal, 800 times 0.0221 would be 1768. So Roberto's cost of living adjustment is 1768. So his new monthly benefit is going to be the 800 he was getting plus the 1768 he now for the cost of living adjustment. So now his new payment is $1768. It said in the problem this year the employer is offering a 2.35% cost of living adjustment. So his new payment after the 2.21% cost of living adjustment, which is that, now he's going to get 2.35%. So you would multiply this amount times 0.0235 and get that dollar amount and then add it back to the 817. There is another way, and this is what we're showing you here. Instead of multiplying 800 times 0.0221 to get this amount, and then adding it back to the 800, you could simply multiply the 800 times this plus 1.02221, and that would give you that figure automatically. So to find the 2.35%, you could take this amount here, multiply it times 2.35 plus a 1, a whole, 1.0235, and get this here. So his new monthly pension would be $836, and if we're rounding here, that'd be 90 cents. All right, let's look at this example here. Brian and Marina are married. They're planning on retiring after 30 years. Marina worked the entire 30 years for Santa Fe Corp. For the last 3 years, she's been making $110 per year. Brian has been making the same salary for the last 3 years at Santa Fe, but has only been working there for 15 years. So Marina, Brian, prior to his current job, he worked 15 years at a competitor and had a final average salary of $60,000. Both employers offered a defined benefit plan that calculated the annual pension as the product, so we're going to be multiplying, of the final 3-year average salary, the number of years of service, and a 2% multiplier. Calculate and compare Marina and Brian's annual pension upon retirement from Santa Fe. Well, let's see. Marina's annual pension can be calculated as follows. Her 3-year average salary, well, she was making $110 for the last, I forget how many years, for the last 3 years. So that is the average if that was the same every year. If it was different, you would add them up and divide by 3. Times the number of years she's been working there, times the 2% multiplier. Okay. So once we multiply all these together, you get 66,000. So her annual pension will be 66,000. That's for Marina. Although Brian worked a total of 30 years, he received 2 pensions, one for his first 15 years of service and one for his last 15 years of service. His annual pension benefit is the sum of these 2 pension amounts. So job 1, he finished with an average salary of $60,000 times the 15 years he went there, that he worked there, times the 2% multiplier. So if you multiply that together, you get $18,000. So that's going to be 1 pension he's going to receive. From job 2 at Santa Fe Corp, I guess he was making the same as her. Oh yes, he's been making the same salary at Santa Fe as her, times 15 years at Santa Fe, times the 2% multiplier. So from Santa Fe Corp, he's going to get that as a pension per year. So total would be both of these together, which would give you $51,000. Let's look at this example. Ann's employer offers a pension plan that calculates the annual pension as the product of the final 3-year average salary, the number of years of service, and a 2% multiplier. Her employer uses a graded 6-year vesting formula as shown. After 5 years, Ann decides to leave her job, so she's not quite vested. Her average salary was $50,000. How much pension will she receive? So she's been employed for 5 years. So Ann's annual pension can be calculated as follows. Her average salary, which was $50,000, times the years of service, 5, times the percentage multiplier, which was 2%, which give you $5,000. But she has to be there for a full 6 years to be fully 100% vested. She's only been there for 5. So according to this table, if she's only been there for 5 years, she's only 80% vested, which means she only gets 80% of that amount. So 5,000, which is what she should have got in full, she's only getting 80% of that. So 80% times 5,000 is 4,000. So her pension from that company annually will be 4,000. All right, let's try this one. Use the vesting schedule from this example, example 5. Ralph is leaving his company after 4 years. His average salary was $38,500. How much pension will he receive? So we're just going to do the same thing we did up here, but instead of $50,000, we're going to use $38,500. So we're going to do $38,500 times the years of service, but this is only 4, times the multiplier, 0.02. We're going to get that number. Which is 3,080. but he's only been there 4 years. So he's only going to be able to keep he's only 60% vested, which he's only going to be able to keep 60% of that. So then I'm going to take that, multiply it times 0.60, which will give you $18.48. So that's his annual pension. Not much. It's $150 a year, or a month, I mean. So that's going to be the annual pension. Okay, defined benefit plans, pensions. That's it.